Good morning. I'm Andy Myers at Weiss Research.
I'm Jen Amos, and this is your morning market alert for Friday, September 9th. We may see stocks move modestly lower on Wall Street. Investors seem to be taking little solace from President Obama's speech to a joint session of Congress last night. The president proposed a new stimulus program comprised of tax cuts and new spending on schools and roads, as well as incentives to hire teachers, veterans, and workers who have been unemployed for an extended time. Experts put the price tag of the plan at about $440 billion, which is substantially more than expected. But President Obama said it will be paid for by additional reduction of the deficit, including possible cuts to Medicare and Medicaid.
Despite the speech, investors are still concerned about the health of the economy. Some of those worries have to do with doubts about the new stimulus package passing the House and Senate, but they're also due to the lack of concrete proposals to jumpstart the economy from the Federal Reserve. Yesterday afternoon, Fed Chairman Ben Bernanke failed to outline how or whether the central bank could further reduce borrowing costs. His speech was greeted with selling on Wall Street, but some experts say investors may take a more cautious approach today, ahead of this weekend's Group of Seven meeting in Marseille, France. Many are hoping that the finance ministers and central bankers will take coordinated action to stimulate global growth. Calls on the G7 to make a broad move have grown amid worries that politicians and policymakers on both sides of the Atlantic can't enact the type of reforms needed to keep the economy out of another recession.
Ahead of that G7 meeting, stocks across Europe are declining sharply, and the euro currency is losing ground against most of its major rivals, including the US dollar. That strength in the dollar is putting pressure on commodity prices. Crude oil is falling about $1 to right around $88 a barrel, and gold is dropping back a bit as well, now trading at about $1,830 an ounce. Meanwhile, investors are selling treasuries in a slight reversal from the recent trend. That's pushing the yield on the benchmark 10-year note back above 2%.
In corporate news, we may see broad losses in the technology sector. After yesterday's closing bell, Texas Instruments warned that its sales and earnings for the current quarter will be lower than expected, blaming weaker demand across a wide range of products, markets, and customers. That's pushing shares of Texas Instruments down more than 1% in the pre-market. And finally, keep an eye on shares of Bank of America. According to the Wall Street Journal, officials at the biggest U.S. financial institution have discussed slashing 40,000 jobs during the first wave of its restructuring. Overall, Bank of America is aiming to reduce its workforce by 280,000 over several years. That's the latest from Weiss Research. We'll be back after the opening bell with all the market reaction.